Team, let's talk a little bit about low fidelity wireframes. And so this is the process of creating these low fidelity wireframes for our team members and staff. And this is going to help you essentially decide how to structure your website content. So what we're going to do is talk about the entire process and suggest why it's important to start with a low fidelity wireframe once we have a solid sitemap in hand. So just keep in mind that LOFI wireframes are the blueprint for design. They connect the underlying structure or information architecture to the surface or visual design of a website or mobile app. So the tools you'll need is an example sitemap, inspiration, and example low fidelity wireframe. So to start, as a designer, and I'm talking to the designers as well as account executives, we need to make sure that we get a few assets to our designers. One, they have to have access to the sitemap. And so the sitemap looks like this. And I'll use this example because this is what we're going to walk through. Now, our team internally will provide you with a document that looks like this. This is the overall sitemap and architecture of the site. So this is the process we work on right before we go into low fidelity wireframes. So as you can see, we have a table here. Anything in blue is the actual page. Yellow is a section of that page. And then anything red is like a clear kind of call to action, maybe a button or a section that needs to be important and prominent on that site. And then green is the CMS or content management system. Because we use Webflow, which is a website builder for most of our websites, we're able to add custom CMS components into that. So that's more so for the developer, but ultimately this is just to give you an idea of anything that's going to have multiples, whether that's blogs, resources, podcasts, anything that's going to have like multiple episodes is most likely going to be built out in a CMS. So if we look at this example, and this is a pretty detailed one, on this home page, this blue is this actual page. Now the first section of that home page is going to be an image header with a tagline and call to action for membership. Under that, you're going to have a featured exhibitions section with scrolling images. And so ultimately that'll be a section of probably images that scroll through, and then those will click through to a main page. Then below that, you have a become a member call to action or become a member section, which will have probably a become a member title, some sub copy, and then a button. Under that, we'll have a who we are, which will probably be a title and a paragraph. Program/events will probably be a layout similar to like a blog with like 3 to 6 boxes. So as you kind of work through these, you'll kind of get a general idea of what these pages should look like. And this sitemap is to give you the overall architecture of what that will look like. Now, what we'll also give you is the sitemap, and we'll also give you inspiration as well. And the inspiration is ultimately just to kind of give you ideas on how that website structure should be. Keep in mind, low fidelity wireframes don't really have images and text and a whole bunch of content. It's more so the overall structure. So we'll probably provide you with a doc like this for inspiration. And if you hit comments, you'll be able to see the information here. Now, the main thing to look at is the overall structure of these pages, right? So if you look at some of these comments, you've got interactive feeling, fun, engaging, great use of white space, great use of color, right? And the way this section is laid out, you can emulate this in low fidelity. Now, it's not going to be a full and complete design, but this will give you an overall idea of the architecture on that page. Last thing we'll give you is an example of our low fidelity wireframes. Now, we have kind of a distinct look with our wireframes. They have this really deep blue and this light blue here as a template. And so you can leverage this template to create and maximize your pages. Now, keep in mind the look and feel will change based on website, but this low fidelity wireframe gives you a really great sense of where everything is on the page, where the content is. It doesn't have the exact images and maybe the copy is going to change, but this will ultimately give you a general idea. And we like to have our low fidelity wireframes follow this architecture. So with that said, going back to the list of items, the account executive or team member will send your designer all the assets. The designer will review those items, and then they'll work on both a desktop and mobile version of that low fidelity wireframe using Figma. Once that's done, you're going to send a share link to the team for review. And usually we'll just leave comments directly in the system. And with that, that's probably the entire overview of low fidelity. Hope you understand, and if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.